Are you on track with the goals that you set for this year? Do you even know? Well, if not, don't worry about it. I haven't done my mid-year review either, which is what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you through my process so I can determine what's working, what's not working, and decide how I'm going to move forward in my business for the rest of the year. And if you need to set some goals, I've got something that's going to help you with that too. Welcome to the Mind Your Time podcast with Shannon Baker. I'm your coffee-loving host and the founder of the Mighty Society. As a business strategist, I work with purpose-driven women looking to achieve personal and financial success, but they're struggling with organization and time management. Together, we're going to tackle those challenges head on so you can regain control of your business and your time. We're going to explore the strategies and tools you need to make your business more efficient so you can achieve sustainable growth while creating a more fulfilling business and personal life while achieving personal satisfaction and improving your overall well-being. Being busy is not a badge of honor, so get ready to be more intentional with your time and create success on your own terms. So grab your favorite beverage and let's dive into today's topic. I can't believe that we are almost at the end of July. I feel like my family has been going nonstop since we went to Mexico in May. And that's why June came and left, and I haven't done my mid-year review yet. But better late than never, right? And honestly, I'm glad that I'm just doing it because even though we're really deep into the summertime fun, I can include the month of July in my review, which means I'm going to look at the results. We'll share the results of the 5-day audio challenge that I did inside of the Mighty Society membership this month. Now, I will be transparent and tell you, I didn't always do a mid-year review. I would do an annual reflection, but a few years ago, I purchased Power Sheets from Cultivate What Matters, and it really helped me to develop the habit of doing regular reviews, not just of my business goals, but it also helped me to stay focused on what mattered most to me, which includes my ministry, my family, and my own health. So I was able to fine-tune my planning process and be more mindful of the choices that I made every day so that I could live my legacy and be present when and where it mattered most. Think about it. Planning is great. But if you never stop and look at what you've actually accomplished, then you just keep going and going. You don't celebrate your hard work or really enjoy the fruits of your labor. Not to mention, you just keep setting new goals without even making sure that you even need new goals. And that is just insane. That's why I decided I'm going to share my mid-year review process with you today. It's really easy to get stuck in the weeds because we're working on our businesses, we're doing client work, we're taking care of our families. And for many of us, that also includes taking care of our parents because they're getting older. And because of all of that, we definitely lean to the side of forgetting to take care of ourselves, and we need to change that. But we're going to put a pin in that one for later. So the bottom line is, it's really easy to get off track or not even know where you are in relation to the goals and the plan that you created 6 months ago. So you really need to do a mid-year review so that you can analyze what you've accomplished and make adjustments if you need to. But if you never pause to take a look at everything, then you can't make those decisions. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, then you know that I'm a huge fan of self-discipline and being intentional with your time. And if you're new to the podcast and you appreciate a person who is direct and tells you what you need to hear, even when it's the hard truth, then you're definitely in the right place. And I appreciate all of you listening to me as you drive, as you walk, as you clean, or whatever it is that you do when you listen to this podcast. And let me tell you, while I talk about being intentional with your time and the things that we need to do as business owners, sometimes even I don't want to do the things that have to be done. So when it comes to this mid-year review, I had to have a black coffee conversation with myself and actually make the time to sit down and do this reflection. It has to be done because I don't want to be spinning my wheels the rest of the year. And I realize that if you haven't done this before, you may not know where to start. So start by looking at the goals that you set for this year. If you need to, hit pause and go grab a pen and paper and write your goals down if they already aren't written down somewhere. You need to be in the habit of writing down your goals and keeping them handy so that you can do this review on a routine basis. And you should be creating a plan to reach your goals. Now, if you have not set any goals, it's okay. I have something that's going to help you pick one that suits you and helps you create a simple plan so that you can work on your goal for the rest of the year. And that one goal, yes, one goal, is all you need to focus on right now. Both your goal and your plan are key pieces that you need so that you can be intentional with your time. Without goals, you're just coasting along, or worse, you're sitting on the sidelines, which means that your business isn't growing and you're not making an impact. So if you need help setting your goals and creating that plan, I want you to check out my free audio masterclass, How to Grow Your Business Without Being Overwhelmed. There are 5 audio lessons inside of this masterclass, and they range from 4 to 9 minutes long. So altogether, you can binge listen in about 35 minutes or so, which is not what I recommend you do. But each lesson includes a quick exercise that's going to help you take action based on the topic in that lesson. I walk you through the steps of how to pick the right goal based on the season your life is in so that you can move your business forward and more. So if you want to check that out, go to theshannonbaker.com/audio masterclass and check it out, or you can click the link in the show notes. Now back to your goals. Your goals are one of the main bricks that you need to build a strong strategy to grow your business. And that's why one of the many resources that are exclusively available to members of the Mighty Society membership is goal setting worksheets. Those worksheets help members set realistic goals, and it also includes pages for weekly planning to maximize your productivity. There's a weekly review worksheet so that you can stay focused, and there's a 90-day reflection worksheet to help you look at what you did or didn't accomplish in the past 90 days. So if you want to learn more about the membership, then feel free to go to theshannonbaker.com/membership or click the link in the show notes. Now, before we go any further, I want you to know that no matter what you learn from your mid-year review, it's okay to change your plan, especially if something's not working. You can make a pivot so that you can refocus and get things back on track and end the year strong. Now, let me tell you, if you are a person who sets a ton of goals every year that they want to reach, then I want you to hit pause again and narrow your list down to no more than 4. And honestly, that might still be a high number. But I want you to stop and look at your list and pick the ones that you actually worked on this year. If you have too many goals, it can be overwhelming because you don't have the capacity to really focus on a bunch of things. Now, what I want you to do with those top 4 goals is to answer these questions, and do this for each goal that you have. Did I achieve it? Is question 1. Question 2, if not, am I on track to achieve it? Then answer why or why not. And if your answer is yes, what went well? The next question, what challenges did you encounter? Then think about what could you improve? And the last question, what, if anything, would you do differently? So, okay, now you have the questions. So now I'm going to do my mid-year review. So my biggest goal of the year is to increase my exponential income via the Mighty Society membership so that it can replace the paycheck that I get from my day job and I can go back to being a full-time entrepreneur. Have I achieved that? No. I just launched the membership in January, so it's going to take time for that to grow, and that's okay. If you didn't know, anytime you launch something new, it takes time, literally almost 2 years sometimes, for it to really gain traction. So, am I on track with this goal? Well, honestly, the number of members is not where I want it to be, but the current members are engaged with the content that's inside. And what I love about the Heartbeat app, which is the platform that the membership is hosted on, it gives me some amazing insight. So I can see which members are using the membership week to week, and I can see what resources they're actually using. So that gives me insight to know what to create in the future. The challenge is being patient as members trickle in slowly. So far this year, I've hosted 2 challenges inside, and I've received some amazing feedback from the few participants that actually participated in the challenges. It was not as many as I hoped for, but a little is better than none. And earlier this month, we just wrapped up the Beach to Business 5-day challenge to ignite your fall growth. Each day of the challenge contained actionable strategies and a quick exercise to help you maximize your time, set clear goals, and optimize your business processes for efficiency and productivity so that you can navigate the waters of business when things start to pick back up later this year. And that's going to be available inside of the Mighty Society membership until the end of August. So if you want to kick the tires of the membership and take advantage of the offer right now, you can join the challenge and get a 2-week free trial to the membership. You can go to theshannonbaker.com/Summer Ops Challenge or click the link in the show notes to join today. But make sure you do that by July 31st because that 2-week free trial offer expires. So at the moment, when it comes to the membership, I don't think there's anything I need to improve right now. And as far as doing anything differently, well, I don't think I would change anything that I've done because, of course, this is the testing period. But I will say I have learned a few lessons from the things that I've tried so far to grow the membership. Free offers are not appealing to my target audience. So any other special offers that involve the membership are going to be paid. And for the rest of the year, I've decided I'm shifting my marketing to promote my back office assessment more so that I can help as many of you as possible identify the gaps in your current operations and get those taken care of. You get your custom action plan, and it's up to you how you implement that plan. But I do sincerely hope that you'll work with me on either a VIP day or we can work together on a project, or you can DIY your plan using the Mighty Society membership. And when I do this review again in 6 months, we'll see what progress I've made. Now, another goal that I had this year was to be more strategic with my podcast by planning in advance and using it as a sales tool to generate leads and help me close deals faster. Am I on track with this goal? Absolutely. Thanks to planning out the first 3 months of topics, actually beyond that, and rebranding the podcast with Stacey Harris of the More Profitable Podcast, I have definitely been more strategic. I have 2 episodes that are solid sales assets that I can send to someone who asks about what happens with the back office assessment. And the other sales asset episode talks about what happens after you receive your custom action plan. I'm going to put a link to both of those episodes in the show notes. That's where links to everything's going to be. But if you listen to those 2 episodes, then you'll have a better idea of how the back office assessment and the action plan work together to help you create a more efficient business that runs like a well-oiled machine without you. So now let's talk about what went well with the podcast. Well, I'm proud to say that instead of recording week to week and coming up with topics on the fly, on average, I'm about a week ahead with recording, and my new goal is actually to be 2 to 3 weeks ahead with recorded content. I'm going to start batching tasks differently now, so we'll see how this goes. Now, when it comes to challenges, well, honestly, I got a little overwhelmed because I was hyper focused on growing the membership. And even though my podcast topics were planned out, I was tapped out mentally, and it was really hard for me to get the creative juices flowing. So I found myself recording weekly again, and that got old really quickly. So now that the challenge is over, and that is the last challenge I plan to offer this year, but I can now really focus my attention on the podcast and give it the energy that it deserves. So that also highlights what I need to improve. And what would I do differently? Well, it took me some time to get into a rhythm with the podcast task, but my daughter has been a huge help. She is in training right now to really develop her role and start her own business as a podcast VA. I wish I would have encouraged her to do this differently. Well, actually, not differently, but sooner. But again, better late than never. We had to kind of see where she excelled. So I'll keep you updated on how that goes, but we're definitely looking at a fall launch for her services. Now, the third goal I set for this year was to grow my email subscribers, which is why I created the audio masterclass as my main freebie. Now, I launched that in December 2022, right after I relaunched the podcast, and then I launched a membership in January, and let me tell you, it was a crazy ride. If you want to hear more about why I would take on such a huge labor of love, you can feel free to check that episode out because I talked about my life after launch. And of course, the link is in the show notes. But to grow my email list, I was pleased to be invited to speak for the third time at the Purpose Driven Mom Summit, which happened in June. And my freebie for the summit was the audio training, which is an expanded version of my summit presentation. So what went well with that? Well, 192 subscribers were added to my list, so that is amazing. I don't think I need to say much more about that. What challenges did I encounter? Well, one issue I noticed is a number of people entered their information and were invited to join the private podcast feed because the audio masterclass is a private podcast, but they didn't go into their email and accept the invitation, and they've also ignored the reminders. But there isn't much I can do about that. You have to accept the invitation to choose your favorite podcast platform to listen to the masterclass. So if you sign up for that masterclass, please remember to go to your inbox and accept the invitation. Now, what could I improve? Well, honestly, I simplified the sign-up process, so there isn't much more that I can change or that I even feel needs to be improved, other than marketing it more. But I do think I may make some changes later this year to some of the content. I'm really holding out on doing that because I want to get more feedback from everyone who completes the audio masterclass. So I guess that is an area of improvement because only one person has actually given me feedback, and I even got a video testimonial. There's going to be a link to that in the show notes again, so you can check that out. And if you decide to do so, please give me feedback on it. That's the only way that I can improve the content. I want to make sure that what I'm offering is actually serving you. My goal is to help. But if I don't know how I can help you, I can only guess at what I think you need. Now, when it comes to doing things differently, again, I don't think I would do anything differently, honestly, because again, I'm in a year of testing. So I spent a lot of time and money creating what I wanted in my business last year to be what I wanted to be my offer suite. That's why I decided that this year I'm not creating anything new, but I'm really focused on improving what is already in existence. So there you have it. That pretty much wraps up my mid-year review. So now it's your turn. Look at your goals one by one and ask those questions. Did you achieve your goal? If not, are you on track to achieve it? Why or why not? If your answer is yes, what went well? What challenges did you encounter? What could you improve? And what, if anything, would you do differently? If you have not reached some of your goals, that's okay. Instead of creating new ones, keep working on the ones that you have until you reach them. Unless your mid-year review identifies some blatant issues that you can't ignore, then it's just better to move on if that's the case. Now, if something beyond your control keeps preventing you from making progress, put that goal on hold until later and come back to it. And here's a word of advice for all those new ideas that I know pop into your head. If they're not going to help you make progress towards the goals you already have, write it down on an idea bucket list and come back to it later. That's another reason you need to do regular reviews. They help you reevaluate if the goal that was once a good idea still makes sense. One way to see if something you're working on makes sense is to make sure you review your progress consistently, like every month or at least every quarter. Tracking your efforts regularly makes it easy for you to figure out where you're using your time, energy, and attention. Being intentional with your time means you are spending your resources on the activities that are actually going to move your business forward and leave room for you to live your life and enjoy it. I find that creating a plan and working it helps you understand your true capacity. We've got a lot on our plates, and a number of people rely on us, including our clients. So really looking at how you're spending your time, energy, and resources helps you identify where improvements can be made. The most important improvement is probably the way that you take care of yourself. Sometimes we aren't accomplishing our goals because we're just tapped out. I know you've heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. And this saying is nothing but the truth. I've been in what I can only describe as a slump because 3 days a week for the past month, I've had to take my daughter to her summer job. And the time that she had to be there was smack dab in the middle of my morning routine. So that small change had a huge impact on my productivity. I had been trying to figure out why I didn't have the usual level of clarity, and it comes back to my routine is off. But that is coming to an end. Life can start to return to normal, and I'm pretty sure my productivity is going to increase because my day will start with my morning routine again. Now, I know I mentioned not setting new goals, but I take that back. If you have been neglecting yourself, it's time to change that. I want you to set a goal to do something every day that fills you up. If you need some help figuring this out, go back and listen to the episode I did on the power of self-care in business. I share tips that are going to help you prioritize self-care so that you can achieve success on your own terms. But I also want you to think about how you've been marketing your business. It's really easy to get tied up in busy work, client work, or just life. I've been there. And then one day you look up and you realize you haven't sent out any newsletters, posted on social media, or followed up with the leads that have come in or made new connections. We have to make sure that we are constantly nurturing relationships so that our business will continue to grow, because the process to get someone to trust us and spend money takes time. Now, if your mid-year review reveals that you haven't been strategic with your time by including marketing or networking, then chances are your sales are inconsistent. You're on a revenue roller coaster, and we need to get you out of the feast or famine mode. You can do that by putting a little bit more time, energy, and attention to your marketing, sales, and customer care systems for starters. And guess what? Sometimes you need to connect to a community and ask other people, what trends are they saying in the digital space? Because it's really easy for you to believe that you did something wrong because you didn't get the results you wanted. But then you start talking to other people in a similar space, serving a similar or the same market, and you find that the current economy has impacted people's mindset about purchasing the services that you offer or just spending money in general. So that means that your marketing or sales strategy isn't necessarily bad, but it means that there's a little more to this than you might have initially thought, and you may just need to stick that plan out a little bit longer. So as you're doing your mid-year review, take note of what is actually working and keep doing that. No matter what, give yourself some grace. Sometimes we don't get the results we want because life kicks in and takes over. Did something happen outside of your control? Was there a demand on your time that you couldn't account for when you created your plan? Does it come down to a lack of resources, a lack of time, or a lack of energy? When my clients aren't making progress according to the plan that we created, it's usually because something unexpected has happened. Lately, it's been either their health or the health of a family member. So we have to adjust the plan because that's most important no matter what. The truth is, there is always going to be something that can throw your plan off no matter how good it is. So we want to make sure that we're creating a plan that has room for those emergencies so that we're actually working ahead of the plan and have some wiggle room. Our business doesn't shut down because we need to step away for a little bit. And that's why we have to have standard operating procedures, systems, and an emergency preparedness plan. That's why your business can operate without you, but only if they're in place. Again, and if you need help with this, a back office assessment is a great way to start this process. Now, no matter what your results are from your mid-year review, I want you to celebrate what you've accomplished. If you're on track with your goals, go do something fun for yourself. If you're behind in your goals, but you've made some progress, celebrate it. Now, as we finish up the mid-year review episode, I want you to think about the second half of the year. How is your business doing? How do you want to move forward? We don't want to repeat any mistakes that we've already made, and we want to make sure that we're very intentional with our time. So based on what worked, I want you to answer these 3 questions. What are you selling? Who are you selling it to? And how are you selling it? For me, I'm selling the same thing over and over again for the rest of the year, my back office assessment. What about you? Do you have one existing product or service that you can focus on selling? I want you to tell me what it is. DM me on Instagram at @the_Shannon Baker and let me know. To end the year strong, the goal is to know exactly what you're selling and how you're going to do that, as well as you enjoying life outside of the office and taking better care of yourself. So I don't want you spending time creating new marketing or promotional strategies. Look at what you've already got. Improve on it and promote that again and again and again. One thing no one ever tells us is that we don't have to keep creating something new. We can refine what we already have. We end up burning ourselves out because we think that if something doesn't work, we need a whole new plan, whole new strategy, and a whole bunch of new things, and you don't. Let's try a different approach. Do regular reviews, hold on to what is working and improve it, and let go of what isn't. When something is working, you can keep tweaking it, elevating it, and growing it. You can put that on rinse and repeat if you perform regular reviews. I repurpose a lot of content to support my main offers. All of my content comes from my podcast episodes. Now, there's always room for improvement, but the podcast gets my attention first and the most attention. Then my next priority is blog posts. Now, I do want to improve at sharing my episodes and my email marketing messages, but it'll come in time. And social media is definitely not as consistent as I would like for it to be, but hey, I can't do everything and I'm okay with that. I'm only human. So I hope that this was helpful. Please let me know. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you that just consuming this content is not going to help you. You have to take action. The path to success begins with a single step. And I'm here to guide you every step of the way. So pick one thing that I mentioned today and take action on it, even if that is just setting your goals for the rest of the year. Now, if you're not quite ready to join the membership yet or book a back office assessment, that's okay. If you have questions you want answered, connect with me on Instagram and DM them to me. You can find me at @the_Shannon Baker. Remember, ask your questions there, or you can just take a screenshot of this episode, post it in Instagram stories, and tag me and let me know that you enjoyed this episode and it has motivated you to take action. And I have one more favor. If you haven't done so, please leave me a rating and review for the podcast, because that's the easiest way for you to show this podcast some love so that I can reach more women who need this type of support so that they can build a more efficient business and achieve success on their own terms. So that's it for today. I cannot wait to hear from you on Instagram and see you achieve the success that you desire. So until next time, keep calm and streamline.